In the Kudlow Report, the president's top economist wants to play nice with the private sector. Can Washington woo back business? Billionaire tax battle. Do the rich work harder than everyone else? We'll debate. And is the stage being set for an epic bull market? The Kudlow Report begins right now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Larry Kudlow. Welcome back to the Kudlow Report, where we still believe free market capitalism is the best path to prosperity. Topic A tonight, another shakeup for the Obama administration. Rahm Emanuel will officially resign as White House Chief of Staff tomorrow. And NBC has confirmed that Obama senior advisor Pete Rouse will be named his successor. So, will this staff shakeup lead to a policy shakeup from the White House? Now, in an important interview today with Politico, the new chairman of the White House Council of Economic Advisors, an old friend of the show, Austin Goolsbee, he says the administration is looking for business help to jumpstart the economy. Take a listen.
What we need to do is stay on the path of private sector job creation. Let's explore where there's common ground. This ought to be a bipartisan thing and a pro-business and pro-job thing.
All right. So, with their backs against the wall, is the White House trying to woo back business support? Is such a thing possible? Let's talk. Here now is Joy Reid, my totally favorite Obamacom. She also doubles as the editor of the Reid Report and columnist for the Miami Herald. Syndicated radio talk show host Ben Ferguson returns, and CNBC contributor Andy Bush, strategist at BMO Capital Markets. So, Joy Reid, let me start with you. Okay, personnel is policy in Washington. I worked there for a bunch of years a while back. You've been in that game, too. This guy, Pete Rouse, he was the top guy for liberal Senator Tom Daschle in the Senate. He was Obama's Senate staff guy. Personnel is policy. He's not a businessman. He doesn't know anything about business, Joy. So what is my friend Austin Goolsbee selling me here about making common ground with business?
Well, I mean, on the Pete Rouse thing, and thanks for having me on again, Larry. On the Pete Rouse thing, I think that he is a really actually good choice. I was a big fan of having Daschle be the chief of staff in the first place. You know, you have a sort of knuckle breaker like Rahm Emanuel in there who came from the House. And I always thought that the problem in Washington really is the Senate. It's not the House. The House moves legislation. It just gets stuck and dies in the Senate. So you really need a chief of staff who understands how the Senate works, understands the machinery, knows the personalities, knows where the bodies are buried. And Rouse, I think, is a good choice for that reason. And he's a soothing sort of personality, whereas Rahm was sort of, you know, a knuckle breaker. So I think it's actually a good choice to have that kind of a guy in that particular job.
I tell you what, I don't agree with you, but I love that knuckle breaker stuff. I think that is just terrific. That's why you are the best in the world. Now, Ben Ferguson, let me just pick up on this, because I'm really not going to buy what Joy is selling, and I'm not yet buying what Austin Goolsbee is selling. Look, in the Clinton administration, Ben, okay, in the Clinton administration, he had Mac McClarty, who ran an oil and gas company in Arkansas, a top business guy in the South, as his chief of staff. And then later on, Ben, he had Erskine Bowles, who's now doubled back as the Deficit Commission guy, who was a North Carolina banker and businessman. In other words, Clinton had senior business people as his chief of staff, and now Obama has not. This guy, Pete Rouse, I'm sure he's a great knuckle-breaking Senate staff guy, but he's never been close to a five and dime,
well,
Ben.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the president. I think he's learned one thing: never hire anybody that knows more than you do about a certain sector, and that obviously includes business. I mean, he doesn't want to hire somebody that knows more than him about business, so you find guys that are good for liberals. Liberals love who the president picks around him because they are socially, you know, bleeding hard on this and give more to this, and the government's going to create jobs here. That's what we see from this president. But what he needs right now is he needs somebody to come in that actually has run a company that has done more than be a community organizer. And you look at what he's got right now. It's another Obama extremist in the White House, and that's what we're going to get. And that's not going to create jobs for liberals or conservatives.
Hold on a second. First of all, liberals did not like Rahm Emanuel. And second of all, do you understand what the chief of staff does, Ben? Okay,
I've been around a few. I've been around a couple of them in my life.
No. Liberals can't wait to see Rahm go. Are you kidding? Rahm is the guy that they blame for the compromises on health care reform. Rahm is the guy that they blame for getting rid of the public option. Are you kidding? Do you know any liberals? And also the chief of staff's job. Hold on a second. The chief of staff's job is not the Council on Economic Advisors' job. The chief of staff is there to push legislation through Congress and to work with the Hill.
Well, then
and the chief of staff that they had before didn't do it as well. The Senate had a problem, and this guy can solve it.
Well, this is part of the reason why the Obama administration has had problems. The chief of staff's job is to take the pulse of the American people and Congress and to work with them.
Well, okay.
Obviously, this administration doesn't want to do that.
Taking the pulse of the American people is the job of the political director. That's the political director. Different job.
I got to get my pal Andy Bush. I just want to go back to my original point, though. Erskine Bowles, a distinguished businessman, was Clinton's chief of staff.
Right.
Mac McClarty before him, a distinguished businessman, was another Clinton chief of staff. This fella, Peter Rouse, I don't know whether he's good, bad, up or down. I have no idea. All I know is he's got nothing to do with business. And therefore, Andy Bush, I was shocked and stunned to read your notes where you are buying into the Austin Goolsbee Kool-Aid, and you say that you think that the Obama administration is going to turn pro-business. I was shocked. I'm still recovering.
They are shifting. This is part of my belief that I wrote back in August of good things that are happening. We are seeing a shift in the Obama administration's approach to business. They need to continue to shift that way. They really need to come out with a mea culpa that's saying our policies have failed the American people because we really haven't created jobs, and government largesse has been created. And this is what I hope Rouse, known as the fixer, will help Obama see the light. He needs to bring somebody in, a Treasury Secretary, that actually has real-world experience. And I'd love to see the president reach out to the Chamber of Commerce to signal a final shift towards what we need to see is pro-business and pro-job growth. Austin Goolsbee, in his video with Politico, you notice he never came out and laid out anything distinct in that, and that's the problem.
And personnel,
talk is cheap, but otherwise we really can't believe him.
Policy. That's the point I'm making.
Larry,
personnel is policy. And Joy Reid,
Larry, can I make one quick point?
I want to shift gears to another thing because, look, I am very skeptical that Mr. Obama will shift to business. I see Mr. Obama as a transformational figure. He is a liberal progressive, but from his own views. He's an FDR guy. He's a Woodrow Wilson guy. He's the next step. He's Obamacare. That is more important to him than growing the economy, is having the government's role in the economy expand and expand. So, Joy, FDR had no use for business. He hated business. Woodrow Wilson hated business. Why will Obama be different?
Well, first of all, President Obama has not come out after the malefactors of great wealth. That was Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Republican in California, who liberals were cheering for, by the way, yesterday when he made that speech about the Coke Industries and these oil companies. But the bottom line is I do agree that at Treasury he should put someone in there that's got some real-world business experience. We'll go with that. But as far as I think that's probably a good idea. You know, I think he does need to have someone. But what we're looking at are big business really whining because during the Bush years, they got accustomed to getting subsidies.
Joy, this isn't about big business. This is about small businesses and job growth.
Hold on a second. Hold on one second.
And a lot of the liberals miss the point, Joy. You don't understand business because probably you haven't worked in it.
Andy Bush, Andy Bush, you can't interrupt Joy because Andy Bush, you just told me Obama's turning pro-business. She's making your case, and now you're beating up on her with a stick.
I'm saying the key is the shift in the Obama administration. If they make it complete, otherwise it'll be a loss for the next 2 years, and that's really what I fear.
No, but wait a minute. We don't want to shift back to the point where we were paying banks to make student loans, paying insurance companies to provide prescription drugs under Medicare.
Again,
this is what they got used to.
Ideas.
They were on. No, these are what we were doing during the Bush years with the Republican Congress. They got used to the subsidies.
Created under liberal ideology during the Clinton administration.
We're not talking about that. Why do you think that John Boehner was handing out tobacco checks on the floor of the House? They got used to this sort of pay-for-play business, and we don't do that anymore in the Obama administration.
Ben, I want to picture this question. Time is very short. I'm sorry, but it always is. But I want to picture this question because, look, with all due respect to President Obama, I want to repeat my view. He sees himself as this big government transformational figure. He is in the tradition of a liberal progressive.
You're absolutely right.
And therefore, Ben, to be perfectly candid with you, I think he regards business as nothing more than an irritant. Business is not part of his vision, Ben. I'm going to give you the last word.
But look at his whole campaign. Government can help you. He never said help yourself. He never said start a business. He said I'll help you with this. I'll give you this. I mean, 40 million plus Americans right now are on food stamps, and this president says 99 99 weeks. You need to be unemployed for 99 weeks, and I'll be the guy that gives you money for 99 weeks. He doesn't have any use for business. He doesn't understand it, first of all. That's the real problem. He doesn't understand tax cuts, and he doesn't understand that people that have some money are the ones that hire people. He hates people that make money in this country. He can't stand them. And he said, listen to him. He chastises people that make $250,000 a year, which are small business people.
Repeat the words that he said.
Like
when did he chastise people for making $250,000?
Look at any of his speeches.
I'm going to believe.
That's what we need to see.
Say what he said. Quote it.
I got it. I will believe President Obama is shifting when I see new personnel, senior people from the business community. That's what I'm going to see.
And he's not going to do it.
Joy Reid, thank you as always. Andy Bush, terrific stuff. Ben Ferguson, you're great to come back on. All right, folks, coming up,